Maybe
a
I'll
polite
leave it.
variation on, hey, give us some money.
Yes, right. But
So
you
that's just our
oh, I see.
That's pretty straightforward.
Oh, okay. No, we don't even need that. Yes. Yes, so no need for you to come back then, right? So I'll handle the offering because I'm already here. So I'm already here doing the reading. Yes, so you have that whole chunk, right?
You're going to read the opening words.
I'll read the opening words, right? There is a bit of hopping back and forth, and then you come.
This is something that's everyone reads this in unison.
Oh, they do. This one.
There's a little song should pay more attention to the clock. Thank you, Randy. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. We are very glad that you are here. I am not Reverend Karen, but I'll have to do. Good morning, my name's Ed. Still, her words pertain no matter who's here speaking. We are a people creating a beloved community here at the First Unitarian in New Bedford. We believe in practicing and promoting the UU values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity in our congregation. And those values always spring from the love at the center that guides us all. We're people of purpose in this church. We work to make sure everyone feels welcome in this meeting house. And if what you hear today resonates with you, we hope you'll consider becoming a part of the way cool community of seekers and keepers of this very long dream. We recognize that New Bedford and the land we inhabit and enjoy sits on the unceded ancestral land of the Wampanoag. We give respect to the people of First Light, their ancestors, and we honor them in this church. And if you're new here, there's a blue card for you to sign to get our attention. You can join us for a coffee hour out that way after the service. And as always, this is live streamed for those who cannot make it today. And if you've missed something, you can always check it out on YouTube. And lastly, probably should have been firstly, we ask, please put the phones in worship mode, airplane, shut the damn things off, whatever it is. Make sure it doesn't squeak. All right, if I can get you to rise if you are willing and able. Just gonna sort of stretch and breathe for a second. Just inhabit this space and ourselves in it. A deep breath in. Raise arms if you can. Just lower them slowly as you breathe out. And again, to your heart, breathe in. Raise the arms, breathe out, and lower them down. And once more if you can. Breathe in, arms up, and breathe out. Hands over your heart for just a moment. Feel it beat, and be glad you're here, because we're glad that you're here. And if I could have someone who's willing to come up and light the chalice. You want to do it, Deb? Thanks. Try not to burn the place down. Your enthusiasm. Hey, you should never let me light the chalice. Make a big fire. Thank you. And Reverend Ann Fox will do our opening words.
The opening words are by Rollo May. Joy, rather than happiness, is the goal of life, for joy is the emotion which accompanies our fulfilling our nature as human beings. It is based on the experience of one's identity as a being of worth and dignity. So let us sing our opening hymn, number 29, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. Please feel free to greet one another.
Now is the time when we ask each other if you all would join in the unison reading of the covenant, printed in your order of service. We come together as a religious community, upholding freedom of conscience, right relationship, and the inherent worth of all people. We value our diversity and pledge to care for one another in the spirit of compassion, to speak and listen to each other with respect, and to promote justice and kindness in the world. I forgot that the children have already gone. I was about to say, oh, we're going to do the children leave the sanctuary. Well, they've left. So this would be, yep. Now is the, tell me this is working. Yes. Now is the time in our service when we, those of you who have a joy or a concern or something you wish to share can come forward and let us know, and we will light candles. If there's anything, if anyone has anything to share.
Is this working? Can you hear me? Okay. One candle for concern for our democracy, which is under terrible assault. It's a dangerous time. Actually, two candles. The second is opportunity. Okay, here you are. In this church, we believe in the democratic process. We use it. Nico's committee has been working hard to revive our bylaws and update them. And we have elections coming up. In the city of New Bedford, if you're a voter here, you will have school committee elections, and you will have counselor at large elections, ward council elections. Please vote. This is the League of Women Voters flyer for Meet the Candidates Nights. October 9th, school committee. October 16th, counselors at large. Please participate. This is democracy. Thank you.
I have a concern. It's a personal concern, but I'm sure that other people have met this particular one. My very, very good friend who started with Alzheimer's a couple of years ago wrote me a text to say, I think I'm in a different stage of life now. And I don't know what she means, but I admire her willingness to accept the fact that life changes, and I'm also very sorry that it's happening.
Lastly, we light a candle for all of those who have something in their heart, be it joy or sorrow, that they do not share aloud.
Did you notice the title of the music? Beach in Autumn. Thank you. With so many things going wrong in our world and our country, in contrast with the theme of the service, which is joy, I chose words suitable to the sad situation, and that is the unison reading by Wendell Berry, which is correct in your order of service. So please turn to number 483 in your hymnal. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. With those words, let us now go inwards into ourselves, into our spirit. And let us rest in the grace of nature, but let us not forget the graceless times that challenge us and the most vulnerable in our nation. Let the spirit of love and life rise within us and spread out upon our hurting nation, and see that spirit spread to our west and our north and our south. And let us help to heal our nation. And casting our attention and spirit to the war-torn areas across the globe, let us send peace and love and see it rise and hover over all. We pray for more peace in the world and love and harmony for all beings. Bring your attention now to this sanctuary and to your own lives, and see in your mind's eye a person or persons who you would like to heal, even yourself, and send them love. May our prayers be answered for the good of all. Amen. The reading are the words of Tibetan nun and teacher. I don't think she is a Tibetan. I don't know why it's, no. So the Buddhist nun and teacher, Pema Chodron. She writes, joy has to do with seeing how big, how completely unobstructed, and how precious things are. Resenting what happens to you and complaining about your life are like refusing to smell the wild roses when you go out for a morning walk, or like being so blind that you don't see a huge black raven when it lands in the tree that you are sitting under. We can get so caught up in our personal pain or worries that we don't notice that the wind has come up, or that somebody put flowers on the dining room table, or when we walked out in the morning, the prayer flags were not up, and when we came back, they were. Resentment, bitterness, and holding a grudge prevent us from seeing and hearing and tasting and delighting. I would like us to sing another hymn. It's a very short one. Did I say sing it twice? Let me see. Let's sing it twice. It's called Dona Nobis Pacem, and I think that you might know that that means grant us peace. This is our time when we have an opportunity to support the work of our church, and we call it an offering. Please be generous. Joy matters. One New Age teacher tells us, when we focus on having joy and fun, we have higher vibration experiences of hope, enthusiasm, and inspiration. When we come together in community lunches, dinners, or events and festivals, they invoke in us joy and fun, and so much more. You may consciously continue this higher vibration through autumn with hope and upliftment and more as we look forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas. The ancient Jews were well aware of this joy-making effect of their ancient festivals, and thus we read the famous Psalm 100, "Make a joyful noise unto the Lord." And our first hymn today proclaimed, "Joyful, joyful, we adore thee." And in case you're wondering, the fourth gospel, the Gospel of John, is known as the joyful gospel. The other three are the good news gospels. Most of the fastest growing churches today have upbeat services that increase the enjoyment of attendees and try to balance the sermon with enough hopeful messages so that their flock wants to return for more. Even Unitarian Universalists need a hopeful balance of addressing society's ills and offering and embracing solutions. We want to feel happy about our church experience, and this requires a little joy in the mix. Is there a difference between happiness and joyfulness? There is, and I believe one can help the other. A couple of weeks ago, I set out to shop for a certain cake mix for a diabetic friend of mine. Google said Target had this item. I was a bit annoyed, for I haven't been to Target in many years, and recalled that the grocery section was clear across the other side of the store. I set out to hike to the other side, and suddenly I stopped, startled by two huge, suspended high in the air photos of a boy and a girl smiling and playing joyfully. Then I noticed I was in the children's section. I found myself smiling, perhaps foolishly, certainly with abandon. I could barely tear myself away to search for my cake mix, which they didn't have, by the way. But thank you, Amazon. By the way, that the cake mix for diabetes, for people with diabetes, the chocolate one, delish. This image of the boy and the girl stayed with me for days. Even now, I see it in my mind's eye. I said to myself, those kids weren't just happy, they were joyful. Target's marketing people must know this. It set me to thinking about the difference between happiness and joyfulness. And I couldn't get it out of my mind. And the title of my sermon was due. And I just finished reading a spiritual teacher's summer newsletter that I quoted at the beginning. So what is the major difference between happiness and joy? If someone asks you if we're happy, we are likely to reflect on how satisfied we are with different aspects of our lives, our relationships, our livelihood, our family, our health, our home, our church, etc. We might find it hard to say whether we are happy or not. It can be complicated. If I ask you if you're joyful rather than happy, that's much easier. It's much easier to answer because joy is an emotion. It's an emotion. Most of us could go on and on about what brings us joy. We might say joy for us is a walk in the forest or on the beach, wandering through an art museum, playing a favorite game with friends, going to eat in a favorite restaurant, going to a concert, listening or watching birds in your garden, or playing with a kitten. Experts have found that a focus on joyful experience can greatly enhance happiness. One big reason is that joy brings us to the present moment. Joy brings us to the present moment, where spirit is. Not thought, but just spirit, which is a more creative space, free of worry. Also, a person who is joyful tends to attract others who are joyful. The more we can be in a joyful space, the more our health can improve with natural beneficial chemicals exuded by the body. So the more joyful a person is likely to be, over time, he or she will be happier and healthier. Time for a humor break. Why was a teacher so happy to be working at a prison? She had a captive audience. And for your kids or grandkids, how do you make a squirrel happy? Act like a nut. Experts tell us that just focusing on joy brings us bursts of joy. And these bursts increase our happiness, not to mention our creativity. So convinced are they on the benefits of seeking joy that they have created a global research project called Big Joy. You can find it on Google. Run by Greater Good Science Center at the University of California, Berkeley. Where else would such a study be? Anyone can take part in this study, and more than 800,000 people across the world have done so. You can do it online. It requires a time commitment of just 7 minutes a day for 7 days, with easy activities that studies suggest are likely to increase positive emotions. The premise is that we can work out what makes us feel good and do more of it. Micro acts of joy focus us on what is good about the life in front of us and how we can make it better. The Dalai Lama had also been consulted on this Big Joy project. When you think of the Dalai Lama, do you think of him as smiling, ha, 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 laughing and smiling? For the most part, he is. Some of the things participants were asked to celebrate doing was doing something kind for others and tune in to what matters most to them. One person wrote that next to her husband, she discovered that her chickens mattered the most. I'm sure they become pets after a while, and the benefit is giving you eggs too. Then they were asked to take a test to reveal their well-being level. Most scored higher than before they had participated in these activities. It is not easy for everyone to be joyful when life is simply too challenging with personal loss. Recently, a book called Micro Joys: Finding Hope When Life Is Not Okay by Cindy Spiegel caught my attention. She has had many tragedies, one after the other, happen to her in her life. Ongoing sadness caused her to write about how she looked at each day with a view to finding something meaningful that gave her joy. She became acutely more aware of her environment, like the sound of the birds on her patio, the incredible smell of fresh spices in the Indian grocery store, the aroma of coffee grinding in Trader Joe's, the colors of flowers in her neighbors' gardens. She asks us to be more aware of the various environments in which we find ourselves each day and look for the beauty of sight, sounds, and smells. Micro joys enable us to see much more in our everyday surroundings, especially in the changing seasons. Have you noticed the flowers outside City Hall recently? That's a joy. It's a joy. My local library in North Dartmouth, where I live, was built with a natural landscape that you can see from all of the windows that changes, and the landscape changes with the seasons. So most of the walls are windows. The library is surrounded by windows, so library is inside in the center of all the windows around it. At first, those of us in the book discussion group, including me, complained about the weeds. Where we initially saw overgrown wildflowers and tall weeds, we now notice the weeds of this season, which we now think are quite beautiful. I could hardly believe my eyes recently when, upon coming out of Job Lot with my bags full of low-cost cat food, I noticed that my car's right back wheel was much lower than the left. Have you ever had that experience? Your car is tilted? Yes, I had an almost flat tire. Lucky for me, I was only 2 miles away from the inspection station and the mechanic was free. Gratitude flowed over me. Gratitude is a joy. I was fascinated with the speed and skill he used to unscrew the wheel, whip it off, pull out a very long nail, fix the flat, secure the wheel, and pronounce it good as new. Next time, I'll pay more attention when the upside-down horseshoe with an exclamation mark appears on my dashboard. Honestly, this study of joyfulness had really gotten to me positively. Talk about stress relief. Cindy Spiegel's father was a complicated man, taciturn, demanding, moody, but she came to appreciate him more by thinking, because of him, I am. Because of him, I am. It made me think of my own father. He came home one day and announced, "Okay, kids, we're turning over the lawn and growing potatoes. The company is putting us all on 3 days a week." This was post-World War II, by the way. Many people did this. You had to. The company is putting us all on 3 days a week. It made me think of other things he'd done to make extra money in lean times. He even pulled out his beloved rose bushes to make way for cabbages and carrots. This taciturn man had his good sides. Because of him, I am. That's a good thought to hold for the possibly difficult people in your family. So, joy can be, in retrospect, memories, savoring the good and perhaps softening past harshness. This was a great discovery for me. Cindy Spiegel's advises us to keep a micro-joy diary, recording joys that we'd like to remember, even experiences of gratitude, gifts received and given, memories of our loved ones, experience with friends, partners, elders that we can go through, just like we do photographs. So keep a micro-joys diary. Now that Leo, my husband, is 97 years old, his family members are beginning to visit us. Which is a reversal from what it was for decades. We were the ones who visited them in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maine. Recently, his niece and her husband visited us. It was the most wonderful visit. Most of the morning was spent chatting and catching up on our lives. But when we went out for lunch, they began telling us about their great joy, which was traveling around the country to visit the sites of massive trolls designed by Thomas Donbas, a Danish artist. What? An artist who designs and makes massive trolls? Thomas Donbas uses the materials from nature, piles it up, and invites the public to come and help him build the troll, and knows they will eventually deteriorate and return to nature. And that's the point. They showed us photographs of the trolls and of his niece in front of them. She looked like a midget in the midst of the great troll. Do you think this will become one of my micro or not so micro joys? I can't get these trolls out of my mind. How many of you have seen these trolls? Okay, I envy you. It must be such a great experience. Wouldn't it be great if they built one here in New Bedford? How about Buttonwood Park? Plenty of space there. Our niece said that they've become friends with such a lot of other visitors to the trolls, and feel like a community of troll visitors, and they see the same people when they go to another troll place. This is not just a micro joy, but a massive one for my joy journal. Can it be that being committed to discovering or rediscovering the joys in one's life can be life-enriching, life-enhancing? Perhaps creating joy for others follows, and sharing those joys. It did for Cindy Spiegel. It changed her life. I think it might just change mine. Visiting Thomas Donbas's trolls is on my bucket list. Perhaps that in spite of being in a country at this time in history where leadership is focused on joyless control, depriving ordinary people of their favorite comedians, and so much more, we can still live out our principles in a way of creating a better world, a world with more bursts of joy in our own unique Unitarian Universalist way. So may we be it. So let us join in singing our closing hymn, number 95, There Is More Love Somewhere.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
The closing words are from our hymnal, from Isaiah 55. For you shall go out in joy and be led back in peace. The mountains and the hills before you shall burst into song, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands.